close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. See the horizon, turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them. To see the horizon, turn us to thousands, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And
Hello everybody, so here we are back again, and I know I haven't been speaking and I've been just really simply going through the things. It is the time for the action. Okay, so far I've been just simply going through the stuff, though sometimes it gets actually boring when you are just simply coding, and it's like not even coding on your own doesn't suck. I hate watching the video, seriously. When I'm watching the video, somebody doing the things, and when I'm doing the things on my own, I like doing the things. So I just feel like that I could just complete the course in just one go, and then I can start working on the project. Okay, never mind. Let's simply start going from here. First of all, I will exactly describe what I actually made over here, and then we will be rebuilding it. The interesting thing is that I will be rebuilding the same thing, explaining each and everything, and maybe a little better, or don't know. The methods are gonna be different, but there can be two methods. Which one should I go with? let's go with both of them. Come on, mosquito. There are gonna be two methods. I have two methods in my mind right now. The first one that I used over here, the second one that is just I have in my mind. So we will be using both of them from a point of time. This mosquito had to be killed by me. Come on, let's go. First of all, let's simply run the project npm run dev, and I hope everything's working well because I've been just simply copying and pasting this stuff, and this is crazy. I will be explaining the things what is happening over here. And first of all, let's simply have a look at the project, and then we will be simply going through it all. So here we are, and let's go and don't go. Quite a basic simple project, CRUD operation, but using Next.js because I'm learning Next.js nowadays. So I built this project, or I had to build this project because I was learning. Call it whatever, but it is built now, and now we have to rebuild it. By the way, here we are. This is the Notes app, and again, this is the form application. You can make it as better as you can, or as worst as you can. It's completely up to you. Never mind. So there are 12 nodes that we have. Even we can create a node. So this is gonna be the new node, and this is gonna be new content. By the way, I will not be writing much things, and then I can just simply click create node, and the node is created. This is the new node that we have created. We have the date over here. We have the updated date over here. I will be explaining each and everything. I will go through the whole code, and not only that, I will rebuild it just in front of you. So easy peasy. Let's go ahead. One more thing, I can turn the chats on right now. By the way, why are the chats off right now? Let me turn them on, and then I will go ahead. Just a sec. Give me a moment. Live. Turn them on, and the leaderboard as well. Okay, the chats are on, and now we can just simply go ahead. One more thing. Here we are. So this is the thing, the chat is created, and what is the next thing? That we can delete the chat. So let's delete it. So the chat is deleted. After that, we can edit the chat. So those designing and stuff, they're quite bad. I will make them better. I will rebuild it, so you know what's gonna happen. And if I click on edit, so this appears. Ultimately, that disappears. The title, the content that I had, and ultimately this appears. I can just today's notes for you. How am I typing? For you. And this is the content of the notes for you, and I just can click on save, and then it is simply saved. So this is how I am actually able to edit it too. Now what is the next step? Let's simply go through the project. First of all, I will not be talking about the design and all. I will mainly talk about the overall logic, what exactly happening over here. Design and all, you can use Tailwind CSS, just CSS, vanilla. I think that's the name. Never mind, whatever the name is. You can use the CSS and you can design it the way you want. First of all, let's close everything. Over here, let's not talk about the design much, but we will be talking about the most important things. First thing is app. Inside app, I have this home page. Okay, this page is being rendered on the server side. You should know you must know if you know Next.js. And by the way, here I'm directly connecting to the database because it is being rendered on the server side. So I can directly connect to the database, and once connected to the database, I'm getting the notes. After getting the notes, I'm simply sending the notes inside the notes client. What does this do? It simply renders the form, and it renders the notes, etc. So I'm simply I sent them here. I got the notes here. I simply set them in a use state. After that, I have this title, content, and loading. That is just for adding the notes, because we will be adding them, and this is for editing purpose. Should be easy peasy. Haven't done really anything else, and that is it. This is the overall idea that is happening over here. And then if I actually click on live, so db.ts, this is the connection thing that I am doing here. So using where is that? Come on, here it is. Mongoose.connect. I'm simply connecting to the MongoDB. Again, MongoDB database is being used, and then this db.connection, it simply checks whether the connection has already been made or not. If the connection is already present, so we will not be reconnecting. So even I'm checking over here, if it is connected, so I will be just simply returning from there. That means I will not make a new connection. And again, 2 means fixed connection. This is something really important. If there's something like 2, that means that the connection is fixed. And if there is an error, so I'm simply throwing the error from here, and is connected is becoming false. Simple, easy peasy. Even this thing is done. Talking about model is pretty much easy. We have title, we have content, we have created it, we have updated it. You can add more, depends on you, but this is the overall thing that we wanted to create. One interesting thing that I have done over here, I have actually created interface type for the model. So I'm actually extending the document, extending or not completely up to me, but when we extend the document, we by default get the ID. So if we are doing it, that is better. So we are extending the document over here, title, content, all these things we have, and then I'm simply giving this type to the model, generic type of course, but I'm giving it, and I'm using a node schema as well. Over here I'm giving it too, so it's completely up to you whether you want to give it or not. And this important thing is that whenever we create a model, that model automatically gets saved. That means you can, in the global variable, so you can call mongoose.models.node and you can get that particular variable back, particular model back. So you won't have to create a new model. So it's not like whenever we are making a whenever we are restarting that we have to create model over and over. We do not need to do that. If the model is already created and that is saved in the global variable, you can use that and done. So this is it, that is done. And the most important thing is gonna come right now. When it comes to layout, so I have two star. Well, I do not really have my, what is that thing called, nav bar. Never mind. Let's simply go to nodes client, and the main logic is here. What is here? First of all, even before that, let's simply go through API nodes, and inside that I have two inside nodes I have ID. This is again gets the ID in params and gives me the ID. So I have ID folder. Inside ID folder I have route. Inside this I have two things, I have put and delete, because both of them are using ID for putting the things as well as deleting the stuff. That is why they are under ID. And there's another route.js that is directly under nodes. So inside this I have get and post. Get and post, they do not require the ID, that is why they are not under ID directory. But when it comes to put and delete, they require that is why they are here. As simple as that. So it will be pretty much easy peasy. As for the logic, there's really nothing special over here. I'm connecting to the DB. I'm getting all the nodes from where? From the database. Because I connected to the DB, so I can easily get the nodes. Once I got the node, I'm simply sending it back. So it's really as easy as you can just even think of. And the second thing is this: when we are exactly posting, so first of all we are connecting to the DB, we are getting that body. Of course, once we got the body, what we are doing, simply we are creating that, and once the data has actually been saved in the database, we are simply returning it. So it should also be easy. So these both things we have done. What is the next thing? The two things are remaining, put and delete. If I talk about put, first of all I'm getting the ID. ID is required for putting it, connecting to the DB, got the ID, got the body because we are putting it, of course, and then ultimately saved everything over here and simply returned it. Things are this simple actually. I mean, there's really nothing hard in that. So let's even collapse this one. Lastly we have delete. Again we are getting the ID and we are simply deleting it directly with the help of the ID, and again we are done over here. So this is how we have been going so far. Okay, ultimately this particular thing is done. Let's close everything, and lastly we are going to focus on nodes client. The most important thing is happening over here. We have done everything on the server side. Now we are creating the node, we are deleting the node, we are updating the node, we are starting edit, and we are editing, cancel edit. We have two buttons for starting as well as editing. And when it comes to start, so ultimately I save all the values of the nodes inside the edit title and all. And when it comes to cancel, so I simply make them empty. So it's pretty simple. If I start the edit, that means set edit title, edit content should have the value. And if I'm stopping it, so they should not have the value. As simple as that. That's pretty much easy peasy. And then these are the three methods that are actually being used over here. So let's go through them one by one. First one is create. You don't have to worry about this. When it comes to creating something, you can just simply get the data and you can send the data. Create the nodes. So when it comes to creating that, I'm simply making a request, and once I made the request, I'm getting the result. Once I got the result, I'm simply rendering that. As simple as that. The important thing is that I'm setting them in the nodes as well. While actually, if a result.success is true, that means the data has been saved. So I'm actually setting the data in the nodes as well, setting the nodes as well. So ultimately, so that gets rendered. So this is the thing that's being done over here. But the important thing is that only after getting the result from the backend. Before I get the request from the backend, I'm not doing that. Once it is confirmed that okay, the data has been saved in the database, only then I'm actually setting the nodes. Otherwise, I'm not setting the nodes. So this is the thing that is important over here. Remaining things are easy peasy. Easily understandable. And then I have delete node. Again, we'll be doing nothing. Simply make a request to the database backend, of course, and it will simply delete the request, delete the data. As simple as that. And then we are filtering it. When we are filtering, only when we are actually get the result from the backend that okay, the result, the request you made that has successfully been received and the work has been done, then only we do that. So this thing is also done. Lastly, we have update node, quite important thing. First of all, we are checking whether there are values inside edit trim and edit content or not. If there are no values, then we are simply returning it from here. And lastly, we are again doing the same thing. We are putting the stuff and all in back in the database, back in the backend. We are sending the payload, and once the payload receives the backend, once the payload it receives, it simply saves the data in the DB. And this is it, done. Ultimately, there's actually really nothing hard in it. The important logic is here, where how the things are actually being rendered. So first of all, this is the title. You don't need to worry about it because notes title simple, it should be easy peasy, right? Even before that, let's go through the form. So I have two things. I have form. I can make it like this. Add form. This is going to be the add form, and here I will have notes. As simple as that. So let's talk about the add form first of all. So what we are even doing over here? First of all, of course, we are calling the create node so that the node gets created. And the important thing over here is this, that first of all, this is the title. You don't need to worry about it. You can design it the way you want. And the main input boxes I have over here. So first of all, I have this input box, and as far as this input box is concerned, it's simply doing nothing but simple thing, getting the value. And once I got the value, and once I got the text area value, even from here I got the value as well. And then whenever I click submit, the data gets submitted. Ultimately, I can say I got the title, I got the content with the help of this input value. I got the title with the help of this text area. I got the content. Once I got that, I'm simply saying that where is that? On submit, do I have form? Yeah, I do have form. So whenever I just click on submit button, the submit event gets triggered and the form gets submitted, and ultimately request gets sent to the database. So this particular thing I'm doing over here. Again, I will not be explaining the things thoroughly, because overall things are easy peasy, right? If you have ever worked with this, so you know that okay, input I get that, text area I got that. Once I clicked on the button, that create this event, where is that? Create node got triggered, and once create node got triggered, this function ran. Ultimately, data got sent, request got sent to the database, and database, I'm in the habit of saying that is backend of course, and then the data got saved in the database. Okay, simply talking about nodes. Over here we have two special things. Firstly, we have to render the form. Second thing, we have to render the inputs as well. So first of all, let's talk about this. First of all, if there are no nodes, so I'm simply saying that no nodes exist. It's completely up to you whether you want to show them or not. And after that, if nodes actually exist, so I am showing two things. First of all, I am showing the form. Why do I need to even show the form? Because of course we need to edit, right? And for editing we need to have the form. So we again have the same text input, we again have same text area, and after that what we are doing over here, once we click on the button, once we click on the edit button, we are simply sending updating the node with the help of the ID of course. And apart from that particular thing, if I cancel, so it gets cancelled, done. And lastly, I'm actually rendering all the nodes over here. The rendering node logic is here, and one of them is exit button, another one is delete button, and what I'm missing something or what? I have H3, I have this flex, edit button, delete button, and this is the created. I was just missing this particular thing. This is already here. So once I got the content, once I got the title, once I got the created etc., all these things, pretty much job is done. You don't really need to worry about it. You have to just simply render that. Important thing is here, new dot date, and I'm just getting this date from the database side. So node dot created at, it gives me the date in the milliseconds. So this new dot date, it simply converts it to a current date, like in the date format, and this converts it to a local string format. So this is the thing that you have to keep in mind, and everything else is done. What is the next thing? Overall, I know if you don't know it, it can be hard, and that is why right now I'm gonna be writing everything from scratch without even looking at this. This is how it's gonna be going ahead. By the way, let's take some screenshots so that we have some reference that exactly this is what we have to build. So first of all, this is the screenshot of the form. We are gonna be taking the screenshots. Of course, without the screenshots, how can we take the reference? And then we will stop everything, and then we will rebuild it. Easy peasy. It should be easy. And this way, we are simply be going ahead. First of all, let me open this and code explanation. Okay, this was the project that I was actually working on in the morning, but never mind, that is yet to be done. So this is the form that we have. Easy. what is the next thing that we need to have? The next thing that we need to have is going to be this, the nodes. The thing is that I'll try my level best to make the design even better if possible. So let's even see how it's gonna be going on. So this is the second thing that's getting done over here. This is how we render the shapes. And lastly, one more section we have. As soon as I click on edit, what happens? This particular form appears. So even let's get this thing as well. So ultimately these three things we have to just work on. We'll try to even make it organized better. So of course everything is gonna be done in the best way possible, as best as I can, not the bestest. Never mind, let's start it. So first of all, what do we need to do? First of all, we need to stop the project that we already have. So let's do this thing, stop it. Then what is the next thing? cd back ls. Okay, what do we have to remake? mkdir rebuild. What do I have to rebuild? Rebuild nodes app. Rebuild nodes app. This is what we have to rebuild. cd rebuild nodes app ls, and then open this particular directory. That means we are completely closing the previous one. Everything will be built on our own. We are not gonna take the help at all. Yeah, crazy stuff. But let's see whether we can even do that or not. What is the first thing? Even there are few things, but I have discussed them, so it should be easy for me to do that. Let's see. First thing is this, that I have to initialize the Next.js application. So let's even do that. npx create next app @latest, and in the current directory. I'm building the project in the current directory itself. So this is how. Use the recommended defaults. Okay, that's not a big problem. I just hope one thing, that it will be all the packages are going to be installed really quick. And until those packages, while those packages are getting installed, let's do one thing. Let's delete everything from here and just export default. Write everything from our own side. So export default, and that's gonna be function, and that's mainly gonna be a async function, because I will be using as a server side render. Why do I need to use a server side rendered page? Because I will be talking to the database. This thing is done. Then this is going to be home, just home, and I will be returning div over here. Hi there, something like this. So this particular thing is done. And as for the layout, okay, it is okay. I don't really need to change anything. As for global.css, I have some extra design. I will be removing it. I wanna just design everything on my own, so that is why I'm just removing this much from here, and nothing else. What else can be done over here? So this thing is done, and the next thing is that first of all we have to check whether everything is up and running. So npm run dev, simply run it, and then we'll see what we can do. Okay, I hope it will not take lots of time to compile the things and all, because it takes a lot of time. Initially, Next.js takes, in development it takes a lot of time. In production it is fast. It is quite fast. Okay, I think it's render. Okay, hi there is here. What is the next thing that we can do over here? The first thing, let's work on the backend side. Once we have worked on the backend side, then we will start working on the front end side. Easy peasy. Okay, so let's talk about the backend stuff. So over here, first of all, I need to have something called in the root directory, I need to have something called lib. Why lib? It is like config. It will connect to your database, and I will have a db.ts. Again, I'm using TypeScript over here. So this is the first thing that I need to have for connecting to the database. And apart from this particular thing, do I need? Yeah, we need to have models. So let's have models over here. Models. Is it right? Is the spelling right? What is the spelling? Let me check that on Google. Models in Mongoose. Just wanna check the spelling, okay? MODELS. Okay, so that is MODELS, models. So we have models over here. So we have lib, we have models, and that is it. Let's clear the models. Even before that, let's install Mongoose, because we wanna connect to the database. So npm install Mongoose. I'm just installing. This is the ORM, object relation mapping, something like that. Forget about the full form. We are installing Mongoose. It will help us talk to the database. So let's define the schema inside this. So I can simply say that what notes dot notes looks better. Notes dot model dot ts. Notes dot model dot ts. This is gonna be user dot model. Notes dot model dot ts. This name is better, right? Don't you think so? Users dot model notes dot post dot. Let's make it node dot, because there's gonna be one node. It sounds crazy, but node dot model dot ts. This is gonna be the model for that. Import. What do I need to import? Import Mongoose. First of all, I will be importing from the Mongoose itself. Once I got Mongoose, what is the next thing? Next thing, first of all, let's create the schema. So node schema, I can say, and that's gonna be new Mongoose dot schema. This is how schema is created. And then what all I have? I'll have title over here. Okay, when it comes to title, so type of the title is gonna be string. Easy. String. Oh, string. Happy, not happy. Capital string, happy. Okay, so type of the title is going to be string, and minimum length of it gonna be maybe 20. Title should be minimum length 20. Is that so? Minimum should be just 5, and max length is gonna be, let's make it 50 around. Not a big problem. And first of all, it's going to be required as well. So required is gonna be true, and I can say that's not available. If no one provided that, then I can say the title is required. As simple as that. This is the message that I'm sending. One more thing I can have over here. Type is this type, minimum length, max length, and required. I think this is enough for now. Anything else you need to know? Let's go with the content. Same thing I will be repeating over here. Few things are gonna be changed, and that is it. When it comes to content, type is gonna be string. I don't need to worry about this. Okay, and the second thing is that minimum length. This time minimum length. The minimum length is gonna be, I'll even have to check whether this is exactly the way it's written or not. So minimum length is gonna be, just suppose 5. Let's keep it that only. Max length, that's gonna be this time 200 around. And required, again, it's gonna be true. So required is gonna be true, and I can say the content or just content is required. I can remove the from here as well. Okay, so title is required, content is required. One more thing, let me go to Mongoose documentation. Mongoose, and check whether minimum length and max length, whatever I'm actually providing there, that is right or wrong. Documentation, read the docs. Many things have changed. Okay, this is the dark mode. Great. What do I want to check? Models, documentation, connection, schema types, and then I have something called examples. Let's check this thing. Minimum length. Do I have something like that? I have minimum length and max length. That means these things are right. So I have these things. Lowercase, uppercase, trim, match, enum, min length, max length, populate. That means we are going in the right direction. Let's go ahead. So these two things are done. What is the next thing that we have to do? We can save this thing. Do we need to do that? First of all, we have a method called timestamps. Let me even tell you about this. If I set timestamps true, that means created at and updated at, those values will be automatically be saved. That means we will not have to worry about it. Like, they are automatically getting saved, so why do we even need to worry about it? We have to just use them. But the thing is that in the project that I was learning from, they actually created it separately. So let's create it. We will have some extra work to do, and doing that we will learn something, so why not? Type is going to be date, first thing, and is this gonna be default value? It will have some default value, and that's gonna be date dot now. This is the default value it has. And similarly for updated at, type is gonna be date, like this, and default value is going to be date dot now. Right now both of them have the same date. So this is how I'm simply adding them over here. It's optional, whether you want to add them, you can add. If you add them, you will have some extra work to do, and if you do not add them, so you don't need to worry about that. As I already told you, instead of writing these many lines, you can just simply say timestamps, and that's gonna be true. What does this do? Just have a look over it. So if you hover over it and timestamp, the timestamp option tells Mongoose to assign created at and simple thing. You can go through it and like this. So the timestamp option tells Mongoose to assign created at and updated at fields to your schema. The type assigned is date. By default, the names of the fields are created at and updated at. Customize the field names by setting timestamps created at and timestamps updated at. We can customize the name, but yeah, here we are actually, this is the documentation, you can call it, this is just the interface because TypeScript is being used, but this is the benefit of using TypeScript. You can actually read about that particular thing over here as well. So ultimately it's clear, right? You can use this or you can just make it separately. Here you will have just some extra work. Okay, this particular thing is done. We have created the node schema. What is the next thing? We want to, whenever the thing is that whenever we update the nodes, right? Whenever the node is updated, and whenever we are saving the nodes again, at that time I have to update the updated at. Created at does not need to be updated, but when it comes to updated at, that needs to be updated because okay, when it got updated, at that time that particular timing should change, right? So I will have a pre-middleware. How will I use that middleware? So I have something called node schema. I already have. I will use pre-middleware over here. And when I am using pre-middleware, so when I want to run that, whenever I save the values, at that time I run a function, and when I run that function, and I will just simply update the value. So how will I update the value? Updated at, or this dot updated at, this means of course the schema, updated at, what will be the value? I think data dot now. Let's see what it returns. Number is not assignable to native date. To string. How about this? Sorry. How about this new date? Okay, this is fine right now. So it's simply giving me the time in milliseconds, and that is starting from 1971 or something. Never mind, we'll take care of this thing. So this thing we have done over here. The thing is that we cannot use next function over here. I tried to use next function earlier, and if I call it, it will give me the error. So Next.js automatically handles this particular thing. Usually we use next over here so that after updating it we move further, but this is automatically handled in the Next.js, so I had better just simply remove it from here. This is the thing, and lastly I have to create the model, so I have to export the model as well. So export default of course, and one more thing, as the first way is this, that model, first of all mongoose.model you will get from here, and then you have to just give it the name, so that's gonna be node, and give it your node schema, so node schema. But there's one other thing, that once you create the model once, the model automatically gets saved in the global variable of mongoose. So you can even check this particular thing, that if mongoose.model.node, if it already exists, if the values already exist, what is that? Property node does not exist in schema. It should be fine. Models, yeah, sorry. So what I'm saying, that the value already gets saved in the global variable, so I can access this particular thing. So I want to check this, if the value already exists in the global variable, so I will be using that. If model already exists that I have created, so I will be using that, otherwise I will be creating a new model, as simple as that. And then I'm simply exporting from here. So this is the schema that we have created. Pretty much simple schema, easy peasy, there's nothing hard in that. So let's simply go ahead. Let's cancel this thing. Another thing that we have to take care of is this db.ts. Over here we will be actually connecting to the database. We will be getting the values from the environment variables and all. So let's get this thing done. First of all, we will be importing mongoose. Import mongoose from mongoose, simple easy peasy thing. What is the next step? You can create a function, right? Like const connect db or db connect, depends on you. Finally you open chat. Is that so? Really? The thing is that whenever I work on the projects, I turn the chats on. If I'm learning at that time, you know what, you understand. I hope you understand that I need to turn them out. So let's go on. What is the thing? Let's create a function like const db connect. Let's use the same one, db connect. This is a function, simple. What it does nothing, simply connects to the database and all, that is it. Over here it needs to be an arrow function, by the way, if I actually want to use this particular thing. So this is an arrow function that I have created. At the end of the day, I will be simply exporting default value of db connect. Okay, what I have done, created a function. What will this function do? There will be logic for connecting to the database. How do we connect it to the database? Simple, easy peasy. First of all, let's have a try catch block over here, so that if there's any error, so I get that. And what I want, that mongoose I already have. There's a simple method you can call on mongoose, mongoose.connect, and that is it. You have to just give it the URL, and you are done. You just give the URL to this, and that is it. You don't really need to worry about anything. The question is, how do we give the URL to this particular thing? So let's get the URL. For getting the URL, I will be getting the URL from const I can say MongoDB URI. That's gonna be URI URL. You can just go with any one of them. Process.env.mongodb URI. I will be getting it from the Mongo like environment variable. So that means I need to save it there. That is, of course, we need to do that. So let's go ahead. By the way, it is saying that it gets a string or undefined. So let's convert it to a string. So I will say as a string. Simple, easy peasy. And even if I don't want to do this, so I will have to convert this to a string. Either I make it like this, or there's another way. This will work, and even to string, this will also work. Well, this will not work. Never mind. If this does not work, then this should work. String and MongoDB, because ultimately, yeah, this string only refers to a type, but is being used as a value over here. JSON.stringify. This works. The thing is that this mongoose.connect takes the value in the form of a string, and if you do not provide it in the form of a string, then that's going to be problematic. So either you can use JSON.stringify and then say that, okay, I'm converting it to a string right now, or you can say that whatever I'm providing the value, that is already in the form of a string. Depends on you. And not only this is the first way, okay, and then MongoDB as a string, you are simply saying that whatever I'm providing, that is in the form of a string. So even there you don't need to worry about. And the last thing that you can do, that's quite interesting, you can use backspaces, and then you can actually provide the string over here. So MongoDB, it is not throwing there, because I'm getting the MongoDB URI, and that's automatically being converted into a string. So you don't need to worry about that. So ultimately you have three ways. There can be some other ways as well, but these are the ones that are that are occurring to my mind right now. Gajab ki English hai. Okay, let's create an environment variable over here, env.env, so that we can actually save it. So that's gonna be MongoDB URI and something like this, and the database is gonna be Mongo //localhost 27017. This is the this is the URL string slash no tag. By the way, whether this URL is right or wrong, I have no idea. So I will open Compass. Do I have that? MongoDB Compass, and from there I will be getting the URL. I will be getting the right format of the URL. I hope it's gonna open. Yeah. Let's click on this, and even let's try to connect it. When I connect, I already have this Notes app. Let me delete it first of all, because I don't need this particular database right now. So I will be simply deleting it. And I actually want to get the URL string. So copy connection string. I have copied the connection string. I can paste it, and I can paste it just below that, and I can see whether that's right or no. So Mongo, not MongoDB, localhost 2717. Everything else is right. Okay, things happen. Big word. This thing is done. After that, we are getting it here. We are connecting it. If there's any error, so what I'm gonna be doing, I will simply log it. I will say error connecting to DB and all, something like this, and I will be just simply logging the value of error, logging the error as well, and I can throw the error as well from here. Like I got the error, I'm throwing it means it will stop ultimately. You don't need to worry about that. So this is the first thing. Another thing is that, okay, the connection got ready, you can use it, but when it comes to Next.js just runs on serverless. That means whenever you make a request, suppose that is a GET request, so an environment is created and everything runs inside that environment. That means nothing persists over there. The connection does not persist. So you need to even keep this thing in mind. Especially this thing does not happen normally in development. It will not happen. It happens when you actually deploy it. So everything runs inside an environment. All the requests run inside an environment. and then you have to just make sure that whether if the connection is already, or simple thing, you made the connection once, right? The connection got ready. The thing is that if you made the connection once and the connection already exists, the connection is already ready, so why do you need to reconnect? Why do you need to even create a new connection, right? So for that thing, because whenever it's going to be called, it will create a new connection. Easy peasy, simple thing. Whenever you will be calling db connect, at that time this particular thing will run. That means every time it will create a new connection to your database. Do you want that? No. So what will you do? You will keep this, you will keep it in a variable that okay, the connection is ready. If that connection is ready, I don't have to create another connection. How will you keep that thing in mind? Simple. Let's get a variable at the top. Okay, over here, and I can say letter is a connection. What can be the name of it? Is connected. Is connected. By default it will be a boolean and it will have a value false. By the way, it by default what is the problem? Is connected is declared but its value is never read. Okay, got it. Why are you throwing the error unnecessarily? So by default it's gonna be false. Okay, this is the first thing. I can even give the type to it, and as soon as the connection gets ready, it will become true. So I will say const, first of all let's keep it inside a value, so maybe this is gonna be the response, and the connection response, you can make it connection response as well. Connection response, something like this. Once I have this connection response, then I will get some values inside this connection response. Even I can log the value and then you can check what we are getting. So CLG, and this is gonna be connection response. Okay, I'm simply logging the value over here. Let's run it, connect it to the DB, and then see what exactly we get inside this particular thing. Let's do it. Here we have this page. Over here what we will be doing, simple db connect, I'm calling it, simple thing. I will have to make it async. I have already made it. Let's await it. Whenever I run it, it will be called. Whenever it runs, ultimately this will run, and whenever this runs, ultimately I will log the value of the connection. Let's see what exactly we get inside the connection, and on the basis of that thing we will simply be going ahead. So npm run dev, npm run dev. Okay, let's reload the page over here, reload the page and check the log values that we get over here. Okay, few things. First of all, got here, congratulations. What is the problem that Next.js rebuilt nodes taking app, blah blah blah, invalid source map, only confront source maps can be used to find original cause, source URL could not be passed. What is the we'll be taking care of it later on. Inside db.ts I'm getting this issue, never mind. Okay, this is the result that pending, something is up. What is up? The up thing is this, we are not awaiting it. The important thing, you need to make sure that the connection is established, then only you will be going ahead. So I'm awaiting it. First of all, I'm saying that once the connection is ready, then only you have to go ahead. Let's reload the page. Okay, right now we are not getting the error, and we have this logging the value, the connection response that we logged. And what are we getting? The important thing over here is this, the connections. Inside the connections I have this value in 0th index. What is this value? This is the connection that got recently connected. This is the recently made connection. So inside it, if you look at it, so I'm getting ready state is 1. That means it is connected. 1 exactly means connecting and 2 means connected, but never mind, that doesn't really matter. But ultimately here we are getting the connection. So inside this connections array, all the connections that will be made, they will be pushed here and they will exist over here. So I can check whether connections has any connection or not. If connections already has a connection, I don't need to make a new connection, as simple as that. So I can do something like this over here, that let's uncomment this, and as for this one, let's say connected is connected, and then I will check what I will check. If connection response dot connections in the 0th index of that, and is ready, what was the value that we had over there? We had a value, I hope I'll get that. Just above we had that. Here we have this. Inside connections we have we had connections this, and we had is ready state. So we will check the ready state. Ready state and if the value of ready state is triple equals to 2, that means the connection is made. Ready 2 means the connection is already established, it's connected. So what I'm saying that is connected connection, simply checking it, and once the connection exists, I'm simply checking whether the ready state, the connection's ready state is equals to 2. If the connection's ready state is equals to 2, that means the connection is already connected. That means next time onwards each connected's value is going to be true, as simple as that. And here whenever I'm calling this particular function over here, this db connect, whenever I'm calling it, I'm getting the MongoDB URI, that is great. Then even before that I will check if is connected already. What will I do? I will do nothing. I will return the value from here and done. I can just log some of the value, because if that is already connected, why do I need to create a new connection? Because of course we should not create lots of connections. And I can say that CLG MongoDB MongoDB is already connected, as simple as that. So this is what we have done. Things are pretty much simple, right? So here we have even got this particular thing done. What is the next thing that we have to do? The next thing is that we have to work on the backend routes. Let's create those routes and work on them. And this particular thing, this belongs to front end side, so this will be done later on, not a big problem. Let's work on the backend routes. So over here, first of all, we have to create API. Again, this is the structure that you have to follow. So you created API. Inside that, as I'm working on the nodes, so I will have nodes. Okay, this is crazy. I will have a nodes folder like this. So I will have a nodes folder. Once I have nodes folder, I will have route.ts inside that. So route.ts, this is the first file that I have. Secondly, and inside this file, I will be creating some of the routes. So the first one is going to be export function. Let's make it async. So export async, this is gonna be a function, and first one is gonna be get route, because I will be getting the data from here. So this is the get route that I have created. It does its job. Okay, the second one that I am going to create, that's gonna be export async function, that's gonna be post route, and this is how the things are actually made in JavaScript. So these two things I have created. Excuse me. And there are some more things that need to be created. First of all, I got get and post. For put and delete, I need the ID as well. So I will be getting the ID in the params. So over here I can say ID is there's gonna be ID folder, and inside that I will have route.ts, and inside that particular route.ts I will be getting the ID by default in the params, of course. So over here I will be creating some routes as well. So export async function. What do I have to create? I have to create a put method, as simple as that, and this thing is done. And one more thing, I have to create delete method, delete route, so function, and that's gonna be delete, and this is the thing that's created. It's time to write some logic inside that and then simply move. Before even this, but doing this thing, let me create a directory called type, and inside that I will be types actually. Inside this I will be writing all the types, as simple as that, because of course when it comes to working with the TypeScript, so we need to have lots of types, and that is why I have created types directly, so that we can keep all our types over there. Let's start with the get. How are we going to get the data? First thing, whenever you work with the Next.js, first of all you need to connect to the DB every time, because it is serverless. So just keep this particular thing in mind. Once I got this thing, once I connected to the DB, what is the next thing that I have to do? Interesting stuff. Get means I have to get all the data. So let's first of all, one more thing, try to keep it inside a try catch block, so that if there's any error, you know that okay, the error has occurred. Okay, if there is any error, what will you do? You will do nothing but return. So return next response.json, and you will be saying that success has become false right now. So success has false value. Message is going to be that error fetching the nodes and all, and error is going to be error over here. You can give even the status code. Status code is going to be like 500, because it is maybe server side and something. So this is the error that you are sending, because we don't really know, that is why you are sending 500. And this thing is done. What is the next thing that needs to be done over here? The next thing is this. I can even log the value in case if I want, like CLG and error. That's not needed for now. I can do that anyway. Okay, then I have to connect to the DB. So await DB connect. I'm connecting to the DB. Once I connected to the DB, what is the next thing that I have to do? The next thing is pretty simple. That's what cons notes is equal to note I will be getting I am exporting note, right? Am I not? I'm exporting note model. Just a sec. What am I exporting from here? Okay. From here I have to get the value, so that's okay. Let's get it. What I'll say that import note from @models. What was the path that was being suggested? Even let's check that thing out. Over here, await node model. Okay, let's do it. So ultimately this is @models node.model. Okay, and I can say I want to get node over here. Once I got the node, then I can say that node dot what is the next thing that I have to call. Node dot, first of all I have to get, right? So ultimately find, and I have to find all. What is the problem with this? Okay, once I found the out values, I will simply return the value from here. So even before that I can check it can be equals to 0, so I don't need to check. I will simply return that return next response is something that I want to return .json. Success is gonna be true this time. Success is going to be true, and message is going to be notes fetched successfully, as simple as that. Then you will have data as well, so data is going to be notes. Done. And anything else you can have one more thing, and that's gonna be status code. So status is going to be 200, as simple as that. So this is how you can just simply go ahead from here on. So ultimately what you are doing, first of all you are connecting to the database. Once you are connected to the database, you are actually getting all the nodes. Once you actually got all the nodes, then simply you are returning the value from here, and this is how you are getting things done. There's really nothing to be done, so let's simply go ahead. This particular thing is done. The next thing is this, that you have to create a post method. Again, this is gonna be inside try catch block, and once this is inside try catch block, at the time I will be first of all connecting it to the database. So db connect, and few things are gonna be repeated, like this particular message is always going to be the same. So let's do one thing. Let's copy this message from here. It's almost going to be the same, or we can just simply write it on our own as well. What is the use of just copying and pasting? Return next response.json. Success is gonna be false over here. Message is gonna be error what, saving the notes, and error is gonna be error. As for this, I will be sending the status code, that's gonna be 500 over here. So this particular thing is done as well. And when I'm connecting to the DB, once I have connected to the database, I will be getting the body as well. You can call it body, you can call it payload, depends on you. So await a request. Again, I need to have request over here. So let's get this request. The type of is this gonna be the next request. This is the type of it. And once I got the request, and then I will be calling request.json method on that, and done. This is how I will be getting my body. Once I got my body, I even have to check whether the values are already in the DB body or not. Should I check that, or should I directly save the values? If body does not contain anything, then that's gonna be problematic. So let's do one thing. What all I'll get? I'll get title, and I'll get content. Okay, these two things I will get from there. And once I got these things, so I'll simply check one thing. If title dot length, if that's equals to 0, or title content, well, that's never gonna happen, but okay, in case content dot length that's equals to 0, in that case I have to just simply return it from here, as simple as that. I can say next response, and that's gonna be JSON. Success is gonna be false, and message is gonna be invalid fields. Invalid what can I say? All fields are required, as simple as that. Let's go with this one. I will be saying I will be giving the status code 400. This is how it's gonna be going ahead. And by the way, there could be better way if not title. Even this is gonna be better way if title does not exist, or if the length does not exist. So this is even a better way to just write the same thing. So what I'm saying that if a title does not exist or the content, what is the issue? Reload the page. I don't think it should be a problematic thing. Okay, so here we have even checked this particular thing. We are checking whether the content and title exist or not. If they do not exist, I'm simply showing the error. And after checking that, I have to create that. So const node is equal to, that's going to be await the node I already have dot create. I have to create it, and for creating it, I need to give it the payload, and I can give it the title, and I can give it the content, as simple as that. And once I give it, the node will be created. If there is no node, if not any node, in that case I will be returning again a response, next response, and .json. Success is gonna be false again over here. Success is gonna be false, and message is gonna be, what is going to be the message? Failed error saving the post, something like error saving the node. This is it. And status is going to be 400. Status code, just status. This is how we don't write it in here. So that's gonna be equals to 500. So even this thing is done, we don't really need to worry about it. Just simple checking, and before just simply going ahead. So once even there is no error, the node got created, I will be simply returning another response, and that will be success response. So return next response dot JSON. Again, this will be a success response. Success is going to be true. Message is going to be nodes created, just node created, node created successfully. And I will be providing the node address. So data is going to be node that I have created, and the response is gonna be 201. Sorry, status is gonna be 201. Whenever we create something, at that time we just return 201. So this is why I'm just simply returning 201 over here, and that is it. So this is where I'm actually creating the things, and this is where I'm returning the stuff and all. So we have got these two things done. First of all, this is the get request. Over here we are connecting to the DB. We are finding all the content, all the nodes, and once we have found them, we are simply returning it. Easy to understand, simple. And then here we are connecting to the database. We are even getting the body, so I can say getting the title and the content. After getting that, we are checking, we are simply creating, we are ultimately saving them in the database. Once they are saved, I'm simply sending the response, as simple as that. So these two things we have done over here. What is the next thing? One more thing. I hope I'm audible properly. I'm not sure about this particular thing. Let me check about the audio quality, because I haven't changed the music yet. Let me see. It should be fine. I can even make it better. I need to keep one thing in front of me, and that's gonna be control panel. And from there I have to go to this sound. I don't know how is the quality right now, but I can definitely make it a little better. Well, that must be already better. I don't need to worry about that. That's saved. That's great. Okay, let's continue. These two things are created. Let's go to put and delete things. Let's write the code for that, and after that we will be going to the front end side, because backend will be done from here on. So again, when it comes to put, I will be using try catch block. Okay, if there's any error, so return next response, as simple as that. Everything, the things is gonna be the same, right? Success is gonna be false, message is going to be error, updating the data, updating the node ultimately, and I will be sending error as for the status code. When it comes to the status, that's gonna be 500, because we don't know the type of error. So this is what we have done over here. And here again we will be connecting to the database. So await db connect, this is the most important thing that we need to do in anywhere. And the another thing is that over here we will be getting request, we need the request, so we will be getting request, and the type of the request is going to be next request, and they will be getting parameters as well, because we are getting that's inside the id directory. So from there because of that I will get the parameters, and the type of parameters is going to be an object that will have an id, and that will be a string, something like this. And I will be getting the id as well. So const id is going to be, I will have to await the params, so await and params, and this is how I get the id. The same thing is going to be repeated over here as well. So same code is going to be for this one. So let's do one thing, let's copy and paste this stuff, because same thing is getting repeated, and even this particular thing is going to be there. I need these things. Okay, so I have done this much. Let's write the code for it. Once I got the db, once the data is connected, once I got the id, what is the next thing? I need the content as well, right? So const I can say body is going to be equals to what? Body is going to be equals to await request dot what? Request.json, because for putting the values, updating the values, we need to have the data. Once we got the data, even we'll check whether the value exists in that or not. So instead of making it like this, I can say I will get the title, and I will get the description, sorry, content. I will get these two things. Once I got them, I will be checking them separately, that if the value exists or not. So if not title or not content, okay, here I can provide empty data as well. So can I provide empty data while editing? I cannot provide empty data, there should be some value in the title, and that is why I need to check it. Even I am checking it in the MongoDB side as well. If I actually show you my model over here, so I am checking over here, this particular thing is done. Like minimum length should be 5. If the length is less than 5, then of course there's going to be error. So I am checking here, I am checking it while sending the data to the backend, I am checking in the backend as well. So many checks are there, and it's a good habit, by the way. So if not title or content, I can say next return, next response, and that's gonna be JSON, and success, that's gonna be false, and the message is gonna be simple. All the fields are required, all the FIL fields are required, and that is it. As for the status code, that's gonna be status, and that's that would be 400, because the fields are missing, just the miss. Okay, so here we have even validated it. Once the data actually exists, then I can just simply go ahead and I can say that this time I actually have to update the data. So const updated nodes, updated node, I must say. I will make a request, await, and this time note, I will get the note model, and I will name it better. I will name it a note only, so that it's easy to write. Note model is hard to write, that is why I will just make it note dot I have to update it, right? So find and update by ID. Why I'm finding and updating by ID? Because I already have the ID. So I will give it the ID, and then I have to provide it the values that I want to update. So I actually have to update the title, and I have to update the content. These two things I have to update. I have given that, and some extra value I will be providing over here. First one is gonna be new, that's gonna be true, and the second one is the revalidate. Revalidate, that's gonna be true. I think this is right, I'm not sure. Revalidate in Mongoose. How do we revalidate the data? Revalidate not exists. Revalidate, come on. How do we validate? How do we revalidate while updating in Mongoose? How do we revalidate the data? Whenever we are, why Mongoose doesn't validate on update? Runs validators. Whenever we are doing this, we are providing the options, and the options are run validator, that's gonna be true. So that is not revalidate, that is runs validators. So let's even make it better. Not revalidate, that is runs validators. That should be true. That means it will be checking the value again. Whatever value we are entering, it will check whether it is the right value or you are just simply entering anything. As simple as that. So this particular thing is done. Once we have saved that, we will even check that if not updated, well, this will hardly happen, but we have better check it, that return next response. And what is the thing? .json. First of all, success is gonna be false. And what is going to the message? The message is going to be failed to update the node. And that is it. Status is gonna be 400. Don't know the reason behind that, so let's make it 400 right now. So even this particular thing is done. Here this is the message. I'm checking whether the node has been updated. And lastly, if it has been updated, at that time I have to send a request, return response, next response .json. Success is this time it's gonna be true. So success is gonna be true over here. And message is gonna be updated the node successfully. And data is gonna be updated node, that the node that is updated. As for the status code, that's gonna be status is gonna be 200 around. So this is how we are just simply going ahead. So this thing we have also done. This is the response that I'm sending. First of all, I'm checking, I'm validating the things. After validating, I'm actually updating. After updating, I'm checking again, and then I'm sending the things and all. So this is how this is getting done. So we have even worked on this one. Lastly, we have this particular thing, delete function, delete route, you can say. Let's work on this one. Delete the things and all, and done. Once I get the ID, once I connected to the DB, I got the ID, I will be deleting it. So const, even I have to check one thing. I haven't been checking this thing. I just didn't check above that if the ID does not exist, then over here I have to check. If not ID, in that case what? If there's no ID, return next response response.json, and success is gonna be false. And you will say that post ID, note ID is missing, message note ID is missing, and again you can just give it 400 if something's missing. So I'm just simply gonna be giving status, that's gonna be 400. By the way, status could be better. You can take the help of AI and all. You can just give the right status code. That is okay, that can be done anytime, not a big problem. But overall 400 is even gonna be doing a great job. So this thing is done. And the same thing I will be repeating over here. I will be checking whether the ID exists or not. Even let's see status code for ID missing. Simple. This is how you have to search on Google. You will get the right status code. Even AI is gonna tell you 404 not found is bad request. Okay, that's gonna be bad request. Standard most common status when the requested resource is specific for storage by that ID. Okay, so 400 is better. That's what I was saying. If something is not found using that ID, then you use 404. Okay, so this particular thing is done. And once this thing is done, I will be repeating the same thing over here. First of all, I'll be checking the ID, whether the ID exists or not. So let's paste it over here. This thing is done. Once I have checked for the ID, and if ID already exists, then I will delete the node. So const deleted node is going to be equals to await node dot find by ID and delete. This is the method that I will be using. And then over here I will be simply providing the ID, and that is it. Once I have provided that, I will check whether deleted node exists or not, because it will simply return me that. So if that does not exist, then I will be simply returning a response, next response, and I will say that success becomes false this time. Success becomes false, message becomes failed to delete the node, and status is going to be just let's keep it 400 for now. Later we can just dig deeper more and just we can make the things better. For now, overall 400 does a great job. This thing is clear. What is the next thing? If the node already got deleted, so I will be just sending a response, next response.json, and that's gonna be, this time success is going to be true, because of course that's successful. Message is going to be node deleted successfully, and one more thing, the data is gonna be deleted node. That is it. After this thing is done, then I will be sending the status code. That's gonna be just 200. What is the problem over here? Next, this is the next request. That should be a next response. Okay, so we have done this much. Deleted a node. Come on here. Any problem? Delete node. Deleted node. Okay. So ultimately, this thing we have resolved too, and at the end of the day, it's ready. When it comes to the delete, we don't even need the request over here, so I can just simply remove it from here. Whatever we don't need from Next.js, we can just simply remove it. If we require something, we will use that. If we don't require, we will not use that. So this is how the put is created. Ultimately, put is doing what? Update node. Okay. Then delete means delete node. Delete node. What is this particular thing is doing? Get nodes. And what about this one? Create node. So ultimately you are doing CRUD operation. CRUD in the sense CRUD means create. First of all, you are creating it using post. Then you are reading it using get. Then you are updating it using update put a method, and lastly you are deleting it using delete. So this is called CRUD operation. We are doing all these 4 things, and that's a good thing. Okay, so ultimately right now front end back end is almost ready. What can we do right now? We can actually check it whether it works or not, and then we can just simply go ahead. So let's go to postman, and instead of going to the postman, let's simply directly open it here. Is this running? This is already running. So I have something called extension. I have this Thunderbolt. Do I have that right now? Thunder client, I think this is the one. Yeah, from here I can actually make a request to the database, and that is it. So what is the localhost 3000 API? That's right. And then nodes. Okay, this is how I'm making it. First of all, I will be creating let's create a get request. As that is already running, let's send it. Let's see what we get. Okay, nodes fetched successfully. Data is nothing because of course we don't have any data. Let's go to open compass and refresh it. Then I have this my node type over here, and inside my node type I have nodes, but I don't have any data because I haven't posted it. So let's try to post the data as well, and then see whether it works or not. So one thing is done. Then I will be posting the data. So let's post some data. Body is here, and I will be just posting some data. That is gonna be title, 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 title. One more thing. The thing is that whenever we are saving the data, right? Okay, we don't need to worry about that. What I was worrying about this, if I go here, then I was worrying about the time that was being set. But the thing is that whenever I'm updating it, at that time, whenever the value is getting saved, it's automatically being updated. So in that case, I don't need to worry about this particular thing. So that's right. So title is going to be title 1, and the content is going to be content 1. As simple as that. This much only I am going to be sending. If I actually just send it, node created successfully, title, this everything got created. You don't need to worry about anything else as such. So this much we have done. And the thing is that I'm not even saving the types right now. I haven't even used the types, never mind. But okay, what can I do? Let's check the other thing. It got created, so let's go to the here and refresh the page. And this is what we got, title and all, everything we got. And the next thing that we have to do, that is update it. So let's try to put the things, and I'm gonna be making it 2, and the description is content will remain the same. And even if I check it right now, so that is like 549 or something, and this time updated time should change. So let's send it again. And what is the problem? 4 5 not allowed. I need to send the ID as well. That's bad. So let's make it post. Let's make it get. Let's already get that. This is the ID of that, so I have to send the ID as well. By the way, this was 549. The time should change as soon as I update it. So let's send the ID like this, and let's make it let's make a put request and send it again. And right now, if you actually have a look at this, so 295, 300, this is only changed. Maybe this changes only, I'm not sure, but okay, time definitely changes. Okay, so here the value has been updated. So I have title 2 and content 1. That means I'm able to change the value. So I'm able to change the value. I'm able to post it. I'm able to value in the sense data. I'm able to change the data in the database. If I get it right now, I have to remove it from here, and then I can check this thing out. So I'm simply getting the data, and after that, lastly, I can delete it. So let's get the ID, copy the ID, and for deleting it, send a delete request from here. And the ID is required, send it, and error updating the node. Am I updating it? No, I'm deleting it. 500 server error. When I'm actually deleting it, what is the problem? I'm not going to send any data. Send the request. Error updating it. That's crazy stuff. Let's check this thing out now. Let's go here in the ID section. Am I using updating here? Yeah, error deleting the node. And the thing is that why are we even getting the error? That is the question. I'm awaiting it. I'm getting the ID. With the help of the ID, I'm actually removing it. Let's check the database. Do we have something when it comes to getting that? Control X. Okay, we still have that. That means we should be able to delete that. Control C. Let's get the ID again. Control C. Let's paste it here. And this is gonna be delete. And this is how we will be deleting it. We will not send any data and all. And let's check the backend code whether that's right or not. So what I'm doing over here in the backend side, I'm getting the ID. Await params. Okay, once I got the ID, then I will find and delete by ID. So find by ID and delete, I'm using this. Once this thing is done, the node got deleted. Once the node got deleted, node.find by ID and delete, this should be fine. And then I'm simply sending the response. Should work this time. Don't know what was the problem earlier, but let's see. Send the request again. Error deleting the node. Why? 500 internal server error. I'm getting the error deleting the node. Localhost API / this. That means the request is reaching here. Let's check this thing out. I have delete here. Okay, I haven't added request. I think because of that thing I was getting the error. I thought I can remove it, but I don't think it's like that. Next request. Because of this thing, I was getting the error. I just hope so. That is the reason only. Because this was the only thing that was missing. So let's go here, make a request again, and successfully. That means if you actually wanna request need to be there. I was not getting the like error in this particular section, but when it comes to deleting that, I was getting the error. Why was I even getting that? Because I was using params. So if I'm actually using params, extra value, so the first value should always be request, and that is why I'm just using that. And not really using request anywhere in the code, but request needs to be there because just ahead of that I have params. As simple as that. So this is how we have created our backend. What is the next thing? The next thing is the front end and this one. So let's work on this tomorrow. This is not quite a big thing, so we will be working on that. Even we may have a look at this tomorrow as well, so that we can even make it better. So ultimately, this is the thing that I have to work on. Ultimately, on the front, backend side, we have done quite a great job. We have just created it just in one go. And now when it comes to working on the front end side, we will be working on it tomorrow. I try my level best to just work more and just get this stuff done. That was it. I will be catching up just after, what time is it right now? It's 41, that means 19 to 9. I'll be coming back just within 5 minutes. Then we will start learning Python. Even in there, I have to just learn and solve many things. So that's a lot to do. Actually, a lot to do. That was it for now. I'm gonna be catching up soon, and this is how we'll be getting the things done. Take care. See you.